Hi, good day everyone. For today we're going to discuss about culturally sensitive and bias-free language. First, what is all about culturally sensitive? It is being aware as that cultural differences and similarities between people exist without assigning them a value, whether it is positive or negative, better or worse, right or wrong. It means that both groups understand and respect each other's characteristics. The idea behind cultural sensitivity is very straightforward. It means it refers to a set of skills that allows you to learn about and understand people whose cultural background is not the same as yours. It implies that both groups understand and respect each other's characteristics. This is always a challenge, and even more so in a large corporation where a dominant culture is the one employees are expected to adopt. But what does that really mean? Essentially, it means that as you go about your daily life, you operate with the awareness that cultural differences between yourself and the people you meet exist without assigning them a value. You see our differences as a positive thing, and you do not consider one culture better or worse or right or wrong. Of course, this is often easier said than done. With increasingly diverse populations living together in the same communities, it is not always possible to intimately understand the backgrounds of those we are interacting with. But having cultural sensitivity doesn't mean that you must be an expert in each culture's values. It simply means that you are willing to ask honest questions, seek understanding, and demonstrate empathy rather than judging those around you. It also means that when you knowingly enter a space in which there will be cultural differences at play, you do a bit of homework beforehand and avoid knee-jerk reactions or jumping to conclusions. How about a bias-free language? Bias-free language refers to words or phrases that are considered as not prejudiced, offensive, and hurtful. Furthermore, it means using terms that treat people with respect. Most of us have no desire to offend anyone, but we occasionally do it unintentionally. We must be aware of the need to use a language that recognizes our diversity and does not offend or exclude people on the basis of gender, sexual orientation, racial and ethnic identity, in terms of age, or even disabilities. Rather than limiting and censoring language, the intention is to expand it so as to include all people on an equal basis. Just like, for example, Andrew Young, the black mayor of Atlanta, cast his vote. You may remove the word black to avoid racism. You may just put Andrew Young, the mayor of Atlanta, cast his vote. Or another example, Maria Duran, a Hispanic professor of physics, has been promoted to associate professor. You may want to change it into Maria Duran, a professor of physics, has been promoted to associate professor. Next one is sexism. Sexism is a discrimination on the basis of gender. In order to avoid such discrimination, it is important to use a non-sexist, gender-neutral language. For example, instead of using the word mankind, you may want to change it into people or human beings. Again, instead of using the word man-made, because we need to avoid the word man as a false generic, you may change it into manufactured. Next, instead of saying the word layman's term, you may want to change it into ordinary term. Again, instead of using the word manpower, why not change it into human resources? And instead of using the word the man on the street, you may want to change it into an ordinary person. Next, also, instead of saying the word chairman, you may change it into chairperson. Again, instead of saying the word stewardess, why not use the word flight attendant? Instead of using the word manpower, again, you may use the word labor. Instead of using the word woman lawyer or male nurse, you may change it into lawyer or nurse. So, sex-labeled job titles reinforce the assumption that the job can be and is done only by persons of one sex. It is unnecessary to specify the gender of a person who works in a job, which has traditionally been done mainly by members of the other sex. To do so reinforces the notion that the job is specifically male or female and makes the statement that it is unusual and out of place for that person to be doing that work. Instead of saying the word policeman or policewoman, why not change it into police officer to avoid sexism? Instead of saying the word sales girl, why not change it into sales assistant? Instead of using the word spokesman, why not use the word spokesperson? Also, we need to avoid using pronoun he as a generic one for both genders. For example, a gender bias statement. Each student should submit his take-home quiz by Monday. Now, we need to restate it by eliminating the word his or changing it. So, it could be students should submit their take-home quiz by Monday, or you should submit your take-home quiz by Monday. So with that, we are now referring to humans in general instead of putting an exclusive use of he. How about this statement? How are we going to restate this one? Each student must complete his assessment by Friday. Very good. The answer could be students must complete their assignment by Friday, or you should complete your assignment by Friday. Next one is social class or class discrimination, or that is classism. It is a form of prejudice against a person or people because of their social class, because we tend to label certain person as high class or in upper class, in middle class or lower class. So how to avoid that classism? A more sensitive vocabulary uses terms that more precisely portray the actual circumstances of people within a class structure. Instead of using the word upper class, why not change it into privileged class? Again, instead of using the word lower class, why not change it into less privileged class? Instead of using the word squatters, why not use the word informal settlers? Or instead of using the word slow learner, why not change it into systematic learner? Another one is in terms of age, and that is called as ageism. It is a form of discrimination against other people because of their age. It refers to a person's age only when it is relevant to the medium or the message. So how to avoid ageism? Writers should be specific when referring to males and females in terms of their age. For example, instead of using the word girls for females who are 18 years or older, why not use the word women? Because girls most likely refer to those in high school or younger. Next, instead of using the word a little old lady, why not use the word a woman in her 80s or even 90s? Next, instead of using the word immature adolescents, why not use the word youths or teenagers or even young people or youngsters? Not Youngstown. Example, here is a bias statement. There are many elderly people in our town. Now, how to change the word elderly people. What could be the alternative? We can use there are many senior citizens in our town. And for the last one, it is about disabilities. So for this one, it is very important for us to remember this statement. We need to put people first, not their disability. Or we do not label people by their disability. Or we should avoid offensive expressions. Example, instead of using the word disabled person, because disabled or disability comes first before person. As I have mentioned, we need to put people first, not their disability. So we may change the word disabled person as person with a disability. So as you have noticed, person comes first now before the disability. Next, mentally ill person. So you may want to have an alternative with that one as person with mental illness, so that person comes first before the disability. Another one, instead of using the word mongoloid, why not use or change it as person with Down syndrome? Instead of using the word deformed, why not change it as person with a shortened arm? Or instead of using the word defective child, why not change it as child with a congenital disability? For example, a bias statement, I met an epileptic on the bus today. How are you going to change it into a better statement? Very good. It could be, I met a person with epilepsy on the bus today. Meaning, we are focusing or emphasizing on person or people rather than a certain condition. There you have it. To conclude, bias-free language contributes in a major way for an effective communication. In order to communicate effectively, it is very important to have a comprehensive knowledge on the concept of biased language and their bias-free forms, so as to avoid being prejudiced, offensive, and hurtful in terms of uttering your words or phrases to other people. There you have it. Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope you have learned something here in our discussion for today. If you have finished the video, kindly comment the words that will appear on your screen. Once again, thank you so much and have a great day.